Hi, my name is Antonis and I'm the painter of this video. Today you will see me painting this final stage of a study, a self-portrait study of Rembrandt, and I want to share with you some thoughts on the process of this portrait painting. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope this video will be helpful to you. So, as you see, I'm using oils as my medium here, as of course Rembrandt has done. And unlike tempera painting or maybe watercolor painting, here I use thick colors to paint these shapes of light, these shapes of shadows. The idea is to place color on the flesh area and then move the color around in order to achieve this likeness and to reveal the forms, the three-dimensionality of the face. So here I'm using a restricted palette, as you see on the left. I'm using just 6 colors to paint the skin tones: alizarin red, cadmium yellow, titanium white, cadmium red, some green, and cobalt blue. I'm not using any black when painting the skin area because I want to keep things saturated enough, and I want to paint the flesh tones in a way that will not create any grayishness, any lack of saturation because of the black. If I want to break the saturation of the colors, let's say the saturation of a red color or a pinkish color, I will break this saturation by adding some green, the opposite color of the color that I want to reduce saturation. So I am at a point where I want to add these highlights, and in order to do this, I'm creating a color on my palette that consists of titanium white, some cadmium yellow, a little bit of cadmium red, along with some colors of the previous steps, the previous stage of my painting here, and I place these highlights on the portrait, and after I place them I will blend the color around in a way that looks convincing and nice. It's important to feel the brush, to feel that the brush does obey our commands. And here, painting this study, I'm using these round synthetic brushes. It was surprising to me to understand that in oil painting we don't need to have these pristine new brushes that paint with tempera. But it's important to have a brush that is not that is as hard as it needs to be, and it doesn't feel awkward and strange. Many students struggle with painting just because they don't know how to find the correct brush that will do the job for they want them to do. So as you see here, I'm placing these highlights, and in something very typical in the work of the genius Rembrandt is his use of impasto, the thicker color that he adds on the layer stages of his painting. Here I'm adding this thicker color because this is an alla prima painting. It has been painted in one sitting, and as you understand, the colors underneath this highlight are still wet. This can be both a nightmare and a blessing. It can be a nightmare because the wet colors underneath tend to swallow the highlights. The highlights tend to blend too much with the wet colors underneath, and they are hard to manipulate and move around. Also, for the same reason, it can be a blessing because the blending can be done so easily and look so natural and organic and nice. Now, my preoccupation when I'm painting this impasto layer is to not spread this impasto layer all over my previous painting. I don't want to lose much of the work that I have previously done. So I'm very careful while I'm doing these blendings to not spread everything on the painting. This is because this lighter color that I'm adding is not saturated. It's more bright in value, more light in value, but it's not saturated because it contains white. The more white we add to a color, the less saturated it becomes. For example, pink is less saturated than red. So if I spread everything I'm doing here on the whole area of the face, this will mean that I will lose most of the saturated colors, the beautiful saturated colors that I have painted so far. Look how nice the portrait looks by adding these highlights, how it definitely looks a little bit like the works of Rembrandt. Of course, I'm not him. I wish I had his genius and his skills, but still this portrait looks nice enough. It looks convincing, and I really like this style of painting where we don't see every pore of the skin, every hair of the eyebrows, etc., but with the use of very concise, precise brush strokes, the painter gives the impression of what's happening on the face. It's really high level, masterful painting, this way of painting. And I always admire this level of mastery. So it's important when painting a portrait like this to really feel and understand the medium, to really understand how the medium behaves. And of course, we are not I am not Rembrandt, as I said, so I don't know exactly how he painted this, and I don't want to follow specific recipes on how to paint this, but these studies help me familiarize myself with the medium, to know how the medium behaves, and then somehow use my instinct, use my feeling, let's say, and do the blendings, do the painting of each color. It's important to know some basics of painting, some rules of portrait painting, how, for example, normally when painting portraits, we have these cooler tones around the mouth, on the chin area, how on the cheeks these tones become more rosy, more warm. On the forehead we have some more yellower tones. It's important to know the value, the tones, how dark things can be, how light things can be, etc. So you can find this tutorial, the full tutorial, on my Patreon page, and I hope this video inspires you to be more in the studio, practice more, and familiarize yourselves more with the medium. Thank you so much for viewing and being with me in this brief video, and I will see you soon with another tutorial. Bye.